Hey everyone, today I have Life with Archie number 119, and this one has some special meaning to me because it was one of the very first Archie comics I ever read. So we have a really dynamic cover here. Let's see, Archie breaking just in time to stop from hitting this girl who seems oblivious to what's going on. There's this shocked woman over here, Betty yelling, and he's yelling, honking the horn here, screech the tires go, and we had a little blurb down here, a little flash of it. In this issue, The Sound of Silence, a heartwarming story you won't want to miss. And then we can't forget about the little preview image that's on the top of these comics. One of the things I really loved about the old Archie comics is how we'd get like a little mini preview on the top of one of the stories. So we have Archie, looks like Reggie, maybe, really teeny tiny there in the back, and Jughead. And then we have a gorilla, or a Bigfoot, or some kind of creature here, very unusual for Archie. So yeah, let's get right into the comic. Oh, and you can tell this is one of my really old ones, because I have tape here. Yeah, masking tape, because that was what we happened to have in the house at the time. We flew up in Mr. Lodge's plane on a day's outing. It was to look in on the house of a friend and family and return the same night, no big deal. And so there's Archie and Betty in the plane going... Oh, and there's a little, like, plane hangar thing. That's cool. And then we get another blurb here. The friend, Baron Clotsworth, had been in Europe for well over a year, and Mr. Lodge checked on his huge old... Okay. Mr. Lodge checked on his huge old mansion once in a while. Some very awkward writing here. Whatever. From above, the towered structure was forbidding and malevolent looking, but it gave no hint of the fact that very soon we would be cringing in terror from the grasp of the clutching hand. And I love this little logo here with like hairy hand coming up. That's cool. Oh, and Lodge Enterprises. Apparently Mr. Lodge has his own airplane company, or something. We used the brass knocker on the massive oaken door. The sound echoed hollowly within, and the hinges screamed a protest as the door creaked open. Creak. Yes. Revealing as ominous-looking a wicked butler as ever graced the screen of a Hollywood horror movie. We explained the purpose of our visit, and were escorted into the great hall, where through no fault of our own we met the beauty who went with the beast, the housekeeper who, with handsome Harry, maintained the premises, whilst the Baron went a-touring. I am Crookson, Baron Clotsworth's butler, and this is Mrs. Morg, his housekeeper.
Mr. Lodge phoned that you were on your way. Dinner will be served presently.
A lot of text here. Dinner was an eerie affair, with the candles throwing grotesque shadows on the wall, and some unearthly-sounding organ music being piped in from what must have been the tape deck of Satan himself. Oh, this is a far cry from the religious comic. Oh, my throat's so tight I can hardly swallow. Where's the gruesome gourmet? I want to compliment her on her hot soup. Those bubbling cauldrons will do it every time. Okay, this dialogue is really weird. And then, so there's a storm, and then it came suddenly, explosively, the crack, the flash, the merciless downpour. Oh my gosh, we can't go home in this. Even the birds must be grounded. You expect us to sleep in this house of horrors all night? And then, in one of those blinding flashes of lightning that seemed to light up the whole world, ah, that face in the window! And then, yeah, indeed, there's a creepy face in the window. Acting instinctively and stupidly, we all rushed out into that maelstrom to lay hands on the creature who had terrified us so. Grab him! Or it! Get a weapon, a club, a poker! Don't let it get away! But fortunately for us, it was gone. Drenched and cold, we turned to go in when... Hey, there's a light in that tower! Tower? Light? No, not a chance. All the towers have been closed off for years. We saw a light. Who's up there? Reflection from the lightning. Sometimes these violent storms play strange tricks on the eyes. We weren't convinced, but why fight City Hall? We were on his turf. What did we know? He escorted us to our rooms. Betty and Veronica cling together on the theory that two terrors, when fused, produced bravery. It ain't necessarily so. The violence of the storm had long since put the lights out, but Dreamboat provided us with candles which none of us even considered blowing out when we finally tried the Betty Bye routine. Some very peculiar dialogue in this one. The click was slight as the panel slid open, but it was enough. Some weird feeling of impending doom prompted Betty to waken Ron.
Psst, Ron, did you hear?
And then, I'm not sure this is them or this thing reaching through here. Screech! As suddenly as it appeared, it was gone. The panel closed, leaving no sign that it had been there.
Did it get you? You're still here? I thought you were long gone.
And then they heard it. Coming, sloosh, slide, slosh. A shuffling, sliding sound of something dead and unclean being dragged along the corridor. Slurp, slush, slide. Unable to bear the suspense any longer, Betty whipped open the door and... scream. Aye, and then this freaky thing. Wow. This is in an Archie comic, isn't that wacky? Slavering from its moist, slime-saturated jaws, its hot, fetid breath hanging like a curse on the humid air. Hunched in unholy horror, in the doorway, the thing stared blankly as our screams rent the air.
Who screamed? Betty and Veronica. Oh my gosh, look! After it! Get it! Whatever it is!
And then there's that image from the cover. But moving like some obscene crab, it sidled into another room, and it was gone.
Where did it go? It did come in here, didn't it? Maybe we imagined it. It did seem like a nightmare.
I've had enough of this. And you'll notice a odd panel where Archie is colored blonde. Huh, that doesn't happen often.
I'm sitting up until daybreak, then splitting. I'm with you.
Mrs. Morgan, I agree. This depressing old house has a stimulating effect on your young imaginations. Gregson is right. The storm is letting up now.
And we sat in the great hall, huddled together like frightened sheep, and waited.
Those two seem awfully anxious to get rid of us. You notice that too?
Until, just as the first gray light of dawn streaked the floor, knock, knock. Oh, good morning. I'm Mr. Handley. I'm here to take up residence.
You mean you want to live here? But this house belongs to Baron Clotsworth.
I'm well aware of that. It was the Baron who rented it to me.
Huh? Now look, if the house had been rented, the Baron would have told Daddy, and Daddy would have told us, of course. We can't let you just move in here, sir.
Nonsense, I've paid 2 months' rent in advance, and a mighty heavy chunk of bread it was, I might add.
We'll need some proof.
Well, this is easy enough. Ask him.
Who?
The Baron, of course, Baron Clotsworth.
That's not the Baron.
Of course it is. Didn't I put the rent money in his hand right here last week, and a friend of mine rented the house from him last summer?
From him?
All right, young people, your plane is ready if you'll all...
Mr. Handley!
Say, you're no Baron. You're a butler.
The jig is up, sis. Let's split. Quick, the secret room.
By this time, the pursuers were just a little too close.
That bookcase! That's how that monster got away!
Well, those two won't. Creak. And before they could get away, we were all over them like flies in a honey jar.
Hey, look! This costume! The monster with the clutching hand! It was Crookson! But why? They wanted to scare us away before Mr. Handley arrived. Sure, he's been pretending to be the Baron and renting this house out for fabulous sums.
Well, he rented it to the wrong man this time. Ever hear of Police Commissioner Handley?
Are you a big dumb slob? I'm sure glad they don't have co-ed prisons.
Anybody want a butler or housekeep? There are a couple of jobs open. Brr, in this place, no thanks. No wonder the Baron stays away so long.
And then the little end is a little tombstone. So yeah, this was a really cool and extremely unique Archie comic here, The Clutching Hand. It's an homage to the old EC Tales from the Crypt horror comics with its very large text boxes. And also the artwork here is, yeah, very EC looking. Very cool. I like that. Okay, now this is a unique thing. Lil Jinx. Lil Jinx was a weird little, like, bonus comic strip that would appear in Archie comics, and I remember as a kid not really liking Little Jinx that much, so here's this one. Little Jinx. What? Again? Oh boy, you were so right, Little Jinx.
I was? What was I so right about?
You said that history repeats itself.
Well, that's what my daddy told me.
It's still right. I just got another 0 in history, and she gives him this look, which I do like that look. I like this look too. I like the artwork. I just don't think these characters are very funny, and they're also irrelevant to everything. So, okay, moving on to the main story. Yeah, the cover story. Sound of Silence. Our first meeting with Stella was almost our last, and Archie and I were both furious at the child.
Archie, watch out! What's the matter, you stupid kid? Are you deaf?
Whew, that was close.
To add to our irritation, she completely ignored us. Hey, little girl, I'm talking to you. Doggone you, you almost got yourself killed.
You're wasting your time, mister.
Huh? The kid's deaf. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. No, wait a minute, little girl. I didn't mean to frighten you. I didn't know.
She can't hear you, guy.
I've always loved the artwork on this kid here. I don't know why, I just really like this, pose he's in here.
Go away, boy. Why do you scare my Stella? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare her. She walked in front of my car and I yelled at her. I didn't know she was...
It's all right, boy, I understand.
Poor kid. Doesn't she go to one of those special schools where...
No, Stella can't go to school. Go away.
But...
Go, kid, leave us alone. It's a curse on our family, it's what it is. Nobody can help.
That's silly. There's no curse. Stella can be helped. You're not being fair to her.
Beat it. She can't hear or speak. It's a curse. Now get out of here. And again, I freaking love the poses on this guy here. And the mother. The mother is... their designs are awesome. I love it.
Betty, I won't be able to sleep until I do something for that poor kid. If only somebody could teach her parents. She doesn't have to stay in that lonely, silent world. Deaf people can learn to communicate. But her folks don't know that. The next day. I know I shouldn't be hanging around here, but someone's gotta try. There she is. Man, the poor lonely little kid. Archie didn't know what he was going to do, but he knew he had to try to make contact with Stella. I just hope I don't frighten her. Finally, she came to rest beside a large rock in the park, obviously a favorite spot of hers. Her first impulse was to run, but something in Archie's friendly smile held her. He picked up her ball and pointed to his lips. He pronounced the word ball, slowly and clearly. Point, pronounce, over and over. Then car, boy, girl, dog, cat, point and pronounce. The first flush of excitement brightened her eyes as she realized she was understanding. She was reading his lips. The days ran into weeks, and Archie was missing from his usual haunts. Where's Freckleface keeping himself?
Archie's got a project, a very special project.
Sometimes he'd point to a girl and say boy, and she'd grin brightly and point out his error, and she was bright and quick, and she never failed to be on time at their rock. Until one day,
You! What have you been doing with my Stella? I warned you to stay out of our lives. What do you want with us?
Wait, please. Archie looked at Stella, and she looked at him. Am I your friend?
Stop it! She can't hear you!
But Stella's answer came quickly.
What devil's trick did you teach my Stella?
No trick. She can read lips. Give your daddy a kiss. Smack.
What? She knew. She understood. It's really true. She can read lips.
Would you like a drink of water?
It's a miracle. A miracle.
No, not a miracle, but not a curse either. Stella is not alone. There are schools for children like her. She can learn to lead a normal life. I was there. I saw it. It was like beautiful. It was like beautiful. Okay, yeah, this is Betty's text here, and I don't know if that's a typo or if that's just supposed to be Valley Girl speak. Everybody that came by had something to say to Stella, and she hardly ever missed a word. When my turn came, I said what had to be said. Stella, may I say something for both of us? We love you, Archie. But come to think of it, and I'm sure Stella would agree, that goes without saying. And then we end on the classic Archie pinup.
with Veronica just kissed Archie, and it was so freaking awesome, he fell off the back of the chair. Oh, and he's wearing boots. Huh. She's wearing boots, too, but they're like fashion boots. He's wearing, like, cowboy boots or something. And, yeah, so then that's the comic. So yeah, Life with Archie, 119. A really cool comic, definitely a strong one to start with. And I appreciate the variety of story in here. Now, the two main stories are the Tales from the Crypt homage and this story about Archie teaching a deaf girl how to read lips. And then there's some bonus stuff, the Archie pinup, the little Jinx comic, and then there's a whole bunch of commercials. They're not really all that impressive, but I really like the main stories in here. They were where all the effort went, I think. The artwork is just consistently awesome in this comic. Unfortunately, one of the things that's always disappointed me is we don't get credits for a lot of these old Archie comics. So whoever it was that did the artwork, unfortunately, yeah, no credit goes to them, which is, like, really unfortunate when it comes to, like, something like this, where they have, like, homage artwork specifically to something else. Oh yeah, the other thing that I didn't go through was the letters pages. Yeah, some of these old Archie comics had letters pages, supposedly from young fans, and some of these I'm sure were real, but others I'm pretty sure were sent in or they were written by the editors, because some of these are a little weird. I haven't read these in years, but I do seem to remember some of these letters pages being kind of suspicious. I'm pretty sure a kid did not write these. So, yeah. Life with Archie, 119. If you can get your hands on this, there are scans floating around online that I'd like to give thanks to that I used in this video. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.